Ambassador Kelrick of the Vethene Collective stared at his datapad with all four of his eyes, mandibles clicking in confusion. The human delegation had just arrived at the Galactic Council station, and he was reviewing Earth's classification for the 10th time that cycle. "This must be a clerical error," he muttered to his assistant, Thryn. "What is it, Ambassador?" Thryn's tentacles curled with curiosity. "The humans. Their world is listed as both a Class 15 Deathworld and a Nursery planet." "That's impossible. Deathworlds are rated from 1 to 20, with 20 being instantly fatal to all known life. Class 15 means the planet actively tries to kill you. But Nursery planets are designated safe zones where species can develop without existential threat." Thryn's color shifted to purple, indicating deep thought. "Perhaps check the data again? Maybe it's two different planets?" Kelrick scrolled through the files. "No, same coordinates. Same planet. Earth. Sol system. Third planet from their star." He continued reading, his confusion deepening. "Listen to this: atmospheric oxygen content, 21%, highly corrosive. Surface pressure capable of crushing unprotected Vethene exoskeletons. Gravity 1.3 times galactic standard. Native microbiology includes flesh-eating bacteria, parasitic organisms, and viruses that reprogram cellular function. Ancestors preserve us," Thryn whispered. "And they want to join the council? Wait, there's more." Kelrick's voice took on a tone of disbelief. "Planet exhibits regular catastrophic weather events including rotating wind columns capable of destroying structures, water precipitation so intense it causes flooding, and temperature variations of 100 degrees in a single cycle. Tectonic activity frequent. Ocean contains creatures weighing over 150,000 kilograms with no natural predators." Thryn had turned a pale shade of green. "So why is it also listed as a Nursery planet?" Kelrick found the secondary designation. His mandibles stopped clicking entirely. "According to this, Earth has produced 0 species extinctions due to interspecies warfare in the last 500 cycles. Its inhabitants demonstrate advanced cooperative behavior, artistic expression, and philosophical development despite their environment. They've achieved spaceflight, quantum computing, and genetic medicine. That's what every Nursery planet species does," Thryn said slowly. "But usually with environmental support, not opposition." A chime indicated the human delegation had arrived at the docking bay. Kelrick straightened his formal robes. "I suppose we'll get answers soon enough. Let's go meet these impossible creatures who treat a Deathworld like a nursery." As they walked toward the airlock, Kelrick couldn't shake one thought: if humans could thrive in that environment, what were they truly capable of? The airlock hissed open, and Kelrick got his first glimpse of humanity. The lead human was tall by galactic standards, nearly 2 meters. She wore a simple blue uniform and extended her hand in what the briefing materials had called a handshake. Ambassador Kelrick carefully extended one of his 4 arms, trying not to think about how these creatures came from a world where the rain could kill. "Ambassador Kelrick? I'm Captain Elena Rodriguez, representing Earth. It's an honor to finally meet." Her grip was firm but controlled. Kelrick noted the precision. She was clearly aware of her own strength and limiting it. "Interesting. The honor is ours, Captain Rodriguez. Welcome to Council Station Unity." He gestured toward the corridor. "Please, follow me to the diplomatic suite. I must confess, your arrival has generated considerable curiosity among the council members." "Because of Earth's classification?" Rodriguez smiled, showing her teeth. Kelrick fought the urge to step back. Those were clearly designed for tearing meat. "We figured that might raise some questions." As they walked, Thryn couldn't contain himself. "Captain, forgive my directness, but how is anyone alive on your planet? The data suggests your world is actively hostile to biological life. Rodriguez laughed, a sound that somehow managed to be both friendly and slightly alarming. I suppose it depends on your perspective. To us, it's just home. Though I'll admit, the orientation materials you sent made us realize how unusual our normal might seem. They entered a conference room with transparent walls showing the star field beyond. Kelric had arranged refreshments from across the galaxy. Rodriguez examined them with interest. We weren't sure what would be safe for you to consume, Kelric admitted. Your biochemistry is robust. We appreciate the thought. Rodriguez selected something purple and crystalline. We can process most organic compounds. Our digestive systems evolved to handle quite a variety. She bit into the crystal with those alarming teeth. Though we did bring our own supplies just in case. Kelric settled into his chair. Captain, I'll be direct. Your planet's dual classification has caused significant debate in the Council. Some members believe it's an error. Others think humanity might be enhanced somehow. Artificially engineered. Rodriguez's expression became serious. We're not engineered, Ambassador. We're exactly what our world made us. Earth doesn't have the gentle conditions most species evolved under. Our planet has ice ages, meteor strikes, volcanic winters, and mass extinctions. Life on Earth doesn't just adapt, it fights back. But your psychological profile suggests nurturing behavior, advanced empathy, cooperative social structures, THRYN interjected. Those traits develop in safe environments. Do they? Rodriguez leaned forward. Or do they develop because the environment is dangerous? We learned early that working together meant survival. One human alone in the wilderness might die. A tribe? They thrive. We built civilization not despite our world's hostility, but because of it. Kelric felt his worldview shifting. So the Deathworld classification made us who we are, Rodriguez finished. Strong enough to survive, smart enough to thrive, and social enough to build something beautiful. That's why it's also a nursery planet. The council chamber was packed. Representatives from 47 different species had gathered to observe humanity's formal presentation. Kelric watched as nervous energy rippled through the crowd, some curious, others concerned, a few openly hostile. Captain Rodriguez stood at the central podium, calm despite being surrounded by beings who could snap her in half, spray her with acid, or crush her with gravity manipulation. She simply smiled and began. Honored council members, thank you for this opportunity. I know Earth's classification has raised concerns. Today, I'd like to show you why our world made us who we are. The holographic display activated, showing Earth from space, a blue marble swirled with white clouds. Gasps echoed through the chamber. It was beautiful. This is Earth, Rodriguez continued. 21% oxygen atmosphere, which I'm told is considered corrosive to most of you. We find it refreshing. A ripple of uncomfortable laughter. Our day is 24 hours, our year 365 days. Gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. The display zoomed in, showing a massive rotating storm system. This is a hurricane. Winds over 250 kilometers per hour. We've learned to predict them, evacuate populations, and rebuild afterward. They're dangerous, yes, but they also regulate our planet's temperature and distribute nutrients. Next image, a volcanic eruption, glowing lava flowing down mountain slopes. Our planet's crust floats on molten rock. These eruptions can devastate regions, but they also create new land and enrich our soil. Some of our most fertile farmland exists because of past volcanic activity. Councillor Vresh of the Thorian Empire, a massive crystalline being, spoke up. Captain, you speak of these disasters with almost fondness? Rodriguez nodded. Because they're part of our world's cycle, Counselor. Yes, they're dangerous. But they're also what makes Earth so alive, so dynamic. Let me show you something else. The display shifted to a lush rainforest. This is the Amazon, one of our planet's lungs. It produces 20% of our oxygen. It contains millions of species, many we're still discovering. It's also full of creatures that can kill you. She smiled. Venomous snakes, poisonous plants, parasites, predators, diseases. Yet it's one of the most important ecosystems on our planet. How do you survive in such a place? Thrwn asked. Knowledge. Tools. Respect. Rodriguez pulled up images of indigenous peoples. These humans have lived in the Amazon for thousands of years. They learned what to eat, what to avoid, how to move through the forest. They became part of the ecosystem rather than fighting against it. The scene changed again, this time to the ocean. A massive whale breached the surface. This is a blue whale. It weighs 150,000 kilograms and eats 4 tons of tiny shrimp daily. The ocean also contains great white sharks, giant squids, venomous jellyfish, and crushing pressures at depth. We've explored it, studied it, and learned to harvest its resources sustainably. Counselor Mrix, a gaseous being in a containment suit, drifted forward. You keep emphasizing learning and adaptation. Is this the key to humanity's survival? Rodriguez's eyes gleamed. Partially, Counselor. But there's something more. Something that makes Earth both a death world and a nursery planet. She paused for effect. We don't just survive Earth. We love it. The chamber fell silent at Rodriguez's declaration. Then Counselor Thex, a reptilian being from a low-gravity world, hissed skeptically. Love? You love a world that tries to kill you? Captain, perhaps you could explain your species' violent history. We've reviewed your records. Wars. Genocides. Weapons capable of destroying your entire civilization. These don't speak of love, they speak of savagery. Rodriguez didn't flinch. You're absolutely right, Counselor. Humanity has a violent past. We've fought wars over resources, ideology, territory, and religion. We've created weapons that terrify even us. But do you know what that violence taught us? She pulled up historical images, battlefields, mushroom clouds, destroyed cities. We learned what we're capable of. And we learned to fear it. The display shifted to show a different scene, humans of different backgrounds working together in a space station, sharing a meal, laughing. We learned that cooperation beats competition. That diversity makes us stronger. That the same passion that drives us to fight can drive us to build, to explore, to create. Our violence didn't make us monsters, it taught us to become better. Ambassador Kelrick leaned forward. Captain, many species here evolved beyond violence. The Vathene haven't had a war in 10,000 cycles. The Thorians resolved all conflicts through mental consensus 5,000 cycles ago. How can humanity claim to be ready for the galactic community when you've only had relative peace for a few decades? Because, Ambassador, we earned our peace. Rodriguez's voice carried weight. Species that evolved on nursery planets, and I mean no disrespect, never had to fight their environment. You developed gentleness because gentleness worked. You built cooperative societies because competition wasn't necessary for survival. She gestured to Earth rotating in the hologram. We had to cooperate despite our competitive instincts. We had to build peace while carrying the capacity for war. Every day, humans choose to be better than our nature suggests we should be. That choice, made billions of times daily, is what qualifies us for council membership. Counselor Vresh rumbled thoughtfully. An interesting philosophy, but philosophy doesn't change biology. Your planet made you predators. Persistence hunters, according to the files. You literally chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion. That's not violence, that's systematic, patient cruelty. Rodriguez actually grinned at that. Yes, we're persistence hunters. But do you know what else requires persistence? Scientific research. Engineering. Space exploration. Building a civilization that won't destroy itself. We apply that same relentless determination to creation that our ancestors applied to hunting. Give us an example, Mrix requested. Medicine, Rodriguez responded immediately. Earth is full of diseases that want to kill us. Our immune systems are in constant warfare with bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. So we studied them. Hunted them, if you will. We developed vaccines, antibiotics, surgical techniques, and genetic therapies. We applied our predatory focus to hunting down every disease we could find. She pulled up medical statistics. In the last 200 years, we've eliminated smallpox, nearly eliminated polio, extended our average lifespan by 50 years, and reduced child mortality by 90%. We hunted death itself, and we're winning. The council chamber erupted in murmurs. This perspective was new to many of them. Our violence, our predatory nature, our persistence, these aren't flaws we're ashamed of. They're tools we've learned to direct toward building rather than destroying. Earth made us dangerous, yes. But it also made us determined, adaptable, and ultimately hopeful. Because if we can thrive on a death world, we can accomplish anything. Enough philosophy, Counselor Thex declared. I propose a practical demonstration. If humans are truly as adapted to hostile environments as claimed, let's test it. Rodriguez tilted her head. What did you have in mind, Counselor? The station has a xenobiology research wing. Various environmental chambers simulating different planetary conditions. If humanity can handle their death world, surely they can handle a few controlled tests. Kelrick's mandibles clicked nervously. Counselor Thex, that seems unnecessary. I accept, Rodriguez interrupted, her smile widening. On one condition, council members join me in each environment. Not necessarily my Earth environment, but their own comfort zones. Let's see how we all handle different conditions. Thexa's scales rippled with satisfaction. Agreed. An hour later, the observation gallery above the environmental chambers was packed. Rodriguez stood in the preparation room with a Vathene technician who was fitting her with monitoring equipment. Captain, I must advise you, the technician buzzed anxiously, some of these tests are genuinely dangerous. The desert simulation reaches 60 degrees Celsius. The pressure chamber goes to 5 atmospheres. The cold. I'll be fine, Rodriguez assured him. Though I appreciate the concern. The first test was the desert chamber. Rodriguez entered wearing only light clothing. Within minutes, Counselor Thex, who had enthusiastically entered his own temperate forest simulation, was watching the monitors with growing disbelief. Her core temperature is rising, but she's sweating, Thex observed. The liquid evaporates, cooling her skin. It's elegant. Rodriguez walked across burning sand that would have blistered Vathene feet. She found the water cache, drank efficiently, and signaled she was ready for the next test. The cold chamber was next. Temperature, -40 degrees. Rodriguez shivered but kept moving, her body generating heat through muscle activity. She built a shelter from provided materials, created friction-based fire, and settled in comfortably while Thex watched his own temperature-regulated environment with new appreciation. She's not just surviving, Kelrick murmured to Thrwn. She's comfortable. Look at her heart rate, it's barely elevated. The pressure chamber was different. As the atmosphere thickened to 5 times standard, Rodriguez's movements became slower, more deliberate. This was clearly taxing her. But she adapted her breathing, measured her exertion, and completed the challenge of moving heavy objects that would have been manageable at normal pressure. When she emerged, slightly winded but unharmed, Thex was silent. Counselor, Rodriguez said, I'm not trying to show off. I'm demonstrating that humans are generalists. We're not the strongest, fastest, or most resilient at any single thing. But we're good enough at everything to survive almost anywhere. Kelric accessed his datapad. Captain, if you're willing, I'd like to try one more test. An Earth environment, but one I select. Rodriguez nodded. Go ahead. Kelric programmed the chamber. I'm setting the ocean simulation. Depth, 10 meters. Water temperature, 15 degrees Celsius. Duration, 10 minutes. The chamber flooded. Rodriguez dove in without hesitation. Through the observation window, the council watched as she held her breath, swam with efficient strokes, and explored the underwater environment. Fish, imported Earth species, darted around her. She was careful not to disturb them. At the 8-minute mark, THRWN gasped. She's still underwater. How? Rodriguez surfaced at 9 minutes, gasping but grinning. Sorry, got distracted by the fish. You included bluefin tuna. Those are gorgeous. You can hold your breath for 9 minutes? Kelric asked incredulously. With training, yes. Some humans can do 15. We're not purely terrestrial, Ambassador. We're adapted for land, but we never forgot the ocean where life began. We're comfortable in water, on land, in trees, on mountains, anywhere Earth could throw us. Counselor Vresha's crystalline structure resonated with approval. I'm beginning to understand the dual classification. The next day, Rodriguez invited the council to a human cultural presentation. The dining hall had been transformed with Earth decorations, plants, artwork, and music playing softly in the background. Before we discuss treaties and trade agreements, Rodriguez announced, I wanted to share what Earth's challenges created beyond our biology. Our culture. Tables were laden with food from across Earth. Kelric approached cautiously, his scanner analyzing each dish. This is safe, he asked, hovering over something called curry. Perfectly safe, Rodriguez assured him. Though it's spicy. We enjoy foods that cause mild pain signals because it triggers endorphin release. It's pleasurable. You eat pain? THRWN asked, horrified. We enjoy sensations that would alarm most species, Rodriguez admitted. Spicy food, roller coasters, horror movies, extreme sports. We seek controlled danger because it makes us feel alive. Counselor Mrix sampled something called chocolate through their containment suit's intake port. Fascinating. This triggers multiple pleasure centers simultaneously. Remarkable. Rodriguez guided them through the exhibition. There were musical instruments, drums, guitars, something called a didgeridoo. Art from every continent and culture. Books, physical paper books, in dozens of languages. This is what the Deathworld created, Rodriguez explained. Because survival was difficult, we learned to find joy in small things. We created music to soothe ourselves after hard days. We painted to capture beauty we might lose tomorrow. We told stories to preserve knowledge and inspire hope. She pulled up a hologram of Earth's night sky from different locations. Every culture on Earth has different constellations, different myths about the stars. We looked up at the same universe and saw different stories. That diversity of thought, born from isolated populations adapting to different regions of our death world, became our greatest strength. Kelric was examining human literature, everything from ancient poetry to modern science fiction. Your stories are often about struggle, overcoming obstacles, facing fears. Even your entertainment assumes conflict. Because that's honest, Rodriguez replied. Life involves challenges. Our stories don't shy away from that, they teach us how to face difficulties with courage, humor, and grace. When you grow up on a planet where a storm can destroy your home, you learn to appreciate what you have while you have it. She showed them human families, communities, cities. We build strong social bonds because we need each other. A human alone is vulnerable. But humans together? We've reshaped continents, diverted rivers, and touched other worlds. The same planet that made us fight for survival made us appreciate cooperation. Counselor Thex, who had been skeptical from the start, picked up a photograph, an old-fashioned paper photograph. "What is this?" "That's my grandmother," Rodriguez said softly. "She lived through what we called World War II. One of our worst conflicts. She lost her brother, her home, nearly her life. But she survived, rebuilt, and helped create the peaceful world I grew up in. We keep photographs to remember, both the good and the bad. To remind us where we came from and why we must be better." The reptilian counselor studied the image for a long moment. "She looks kind." She was. Because she knew what cruelty looked like and chose differently. That's what Earth teaches us, counselor. We've seen the worst of what we can be. We've lived through natural disasters, wars, plagues, and near extinction. And we decided that surviving wasn't enough, we wanted to thrive. To create beauty, foster love, and reach for the stars. Rodriguez gestured to the stars beyond the station windows. "That's why we're here. Not to prove we're tough or dangerous or special. But to share what we've learned about surviving, adapting, and finding joy despite the chaos. If we can help even one council species face their challenges better, then everything Earth put us through was worth it." 3 days later, Kelrick called for the final council vote on humanity's application. The chamber was tense. Debates had raged through the night, some praising human resilience, others fearing human unpredictability. Rodriguez sat in the observers section, calm despite the scrutiny. Beside her, Kelrick had placed himself, a gesture of support that hadn't gone unnoticed. "The council will now vote on humanity's admission," Kelrick announced formally. "Before we do, I wish to share my findings." He pulled up Earth's data one final time. "I've spent these days reviewing Earth's classification. I believe I finally understand the apparent contradiction. Earth is designated a Class 15 death world because by our standard metrics, atmospheric composition, gravity, weather volatility, biological hazards, it should not have produced complex civilization. Most Class 15 worlds are studied by xenobiologists from orbit, never from surface." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. But Earth is also a nursery planet because despite these challenges, or perhaps because of them, it produced a species capable of art, philosophy, advanced technology, and most importantly, the choice to be peaceful when they could easily be violent. Humans are perhaps the only species in the galaxy who earn gentleness rather than simply evolved it. Counselor Thex stood. Kelrick tensed, expecting opposition. Instead, the reptilian bowed his head. "I came here skeptical. Afraid, even. I saw humans as potential predators, dangerous and unpredictable. But I was wrong." He turned to Rodriguez. "Captain, you and your species have shown us something profound. You've demonstrated that strength without compassion is mere brutality, and compassion without strength is empty sentiment. Humanity has both." Counselor Vresh resonated agreement. "The Thorian Empire supports admission. We believe humanity's unique perspective will enrich the Council. They understand struggle in ways we've forgotten." Counselor Mrix drifted forward. "The gaseous collective concurs. Humanity's adaptability and problem-solving approach could help us address challenges we've been unable to solve through conventional means." One by one, the counselors voiced their support. When the vote was called, it was unanimous. Rodriguez stood, visibly moved. "Honored Council, Earth thanks you. We promise to contribute everything we can to this community. Our strength, our creativity, our determination, and our mistakes. We'll share those too, so others might avoid them." After the ceremony, Kelrick walked Rodriguez back to her ship. They paused at a viewport showing Earth, distant but visible, a blue jewel against the black. Ambassador, Rodriguez said quietly, can I tell you something? I was terrified. Not of the tests or the presentations, of failing. Of proving that Earth's violence defined us more than Earth's beauty.